Hello everyone and welcome to my stream. I am Disciple and this is Disciple's Quest to become the very best shoutcaster ever. This is going to be a bonus episode where I'm spectating Ryden7's Challenger promos. He is going for actually Challenger this very game. He's 2-1 in his promo series right now. We have some big names. Let's hop right over in there and we will go ahead and check him out with the right overlay. There on the blue team, we have Ryden7 hailing out of Utah, who I know in real life because that's where I'm from as well. In the top lane, playing Mundo, Delicious Milk GG, jungling Vi, Glebe Glarbu will be supporting Annie with Xpecial playing Corki in the bot lane. I'm not sure if that's a real Xpecial, but I will try and get some confirmation on that soon. And Triton, the fourth place challenger currently, and mid laner for TNT, will be on Orianna there. Over on the red team, it will be Afromu supporting in the bottom lane with LMQ's Vasily playing AD carry. Moore will be jungling Lee Sin with Bobkin XD on that mid, LeBlanc, and Tabasco with the top lane Shyvana. And these are actually mostly people that I've already casted tonight so far, but we'll have some pretty fun playing out here. And since since he does have a challenger border, I'm going to go ahead and assume that is the real Xpecial. So this is going to be a big, exciting game. Here goes nothing. I'm pretty pumped to see how they do. This is one of the bigger games that I've casted so far, to be sure. Looking at some of these champions, I certainly expect more to play an aggressive early game as that Lee Sin support. And he really needs to be able to do a lot early on if he wants to make a big impact for his team, or else he will fall off, since a Vi jungle can certainly just do a bit more in team fights with the assault and battery, as well as the abundance of options and damage for that champion. Vi has such a strong level 6, but Lee Sin can definitely gank before that with the damage from the Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike follow-up. I'll go ahead and reorder everyone here on the scoreboard so we can compare who's doing well, who's not, and who's going to take the win here. If win here for the blue team, our Empire here would be Ryden7 making it into Challenger, I believe the 6th man to do so. There are 5 so far. I'm not sure if anyone else here is in their series. We saw Vasily play an excellent game last time on Lucian, but going to go for Caitlyn this round is not too mechanically similar of a champion, except with the poking coming out from those long-range Qs, both the Piltover Peacemaker and the Piercing Light. Caitlyn certainly has longer range, can scale a bit better in the late game with that headshot passive, and has maybe a slightly stronger early laning phase. However, in the mid game, Caitlyn's teamfight damage isn't nearly what Lucian can pull out with his huge burst and the Gunslinger passive. We're going to see both of our junglers start down here on the bottom side of the map. The blue team starting at the red buff and the red team starting at the blue buff. Afromu going in for a bit of an invade, probably going to try and stop this buff here. We could see an LCS Afromu buff steal. I would certainly love to see that after the excellent showing this weekend, but instead he's going to back off of that one. He was spotted out. That is going to be warded up at the red buff by both teams, and they will fall back to give more this blue. Taking the blue enables him to go right up to the red and then move up to the top lane, the mid lane, or stay in the jungle if he can't find a gank out there. However, with an Orianna mid, I certainly expect that to be one of the earlier ganking locations. Mundo as well doesn't have too many escapes early on. Bobkin getting quite a bit of damage onto Triton early on, but taking some in return from that command attack. This matchup can certainly favor LeBlanc if she can get in and take out Triton in some 1v1s, maybe getting a couple ganks from that Lee Sin. However, if Triton is left uncontested, he might not be able to 1v1 Bobkin much, but he certainly will make a bigger impact in team fights with the command Shockwave. Shyvana can have a pretty solid advantage in the early game with the huge damage from Burnout and from the Twin Fangs, or the Twin Bite. But right now, he's not really able to abuse that. Ryden7 is getting the level advantage, and Tabasco is actually forced off of this a little bit. Ryden, with some strong aggression, will ultimately scale about alongside Shyvana, get a little bit tankier, but not quite have the mobility that Shyvana has from the Dragon's Descent, nor the damage from the Burnout. I'm not too sure we're going to see our first blood here. I feel like Moore will play a big part in it. It's interesting not to see Moore in the bottom lane with Vasily, but with Afromo being that support for the pro team CLG, it's not too surprising to see him down there either. Just going to go ahead and try and lower the music just a bit. Aphromoo and Vasily playing aggressively here in the bottom lane, pushing up quite a bit, forcing X-Special rather low. He's taken down below half health. Vasily just with the Piltover Peacemakers and the huge base range from Caitlyn at 650. The first blood in the mid lane, I missed it from Bobkin. We might as well go ahead and watch it again, just so I don't feel quite so bad for missing the first blood, and we can blame directed camera on that one. But Bobkin is actually not too good a position, but there's the silence on the Triton. He throws down the snare, and there is the auto attack for the first blood, along with the Ignite. Now Glebe Glob returning on the Vasily in the bot, getting a bit of damage from that stun, but ultimately not too much return from X-Special since he is pretty low and is starting to whittle away his mana. Ryden continuing to play aggressively up in the top lane on Nebraska is, like I said, an interesting position for Mundo to be in, since I would suspect Shyvana's early game to be better, but with that... with those cleavers, he's just able to continuously whittle away on Shyvana's health, and taking that teleport, he will have the most mobility here of anyone, of course, being able to teleport across the entire map, and if he can come down and gank that bottom lane, or turn the tides at a team fight at Dragon, then that will certainly be worth it in the end. The 1v1 won't be quite as strong for him without that Ignite, though, so he has to be careful of that. Glebe Glob just charging up his stun, wants to potentially look for a fight here with both junglers coming in. This could be the 3 versus 3. Moore moving in from behind, but Vi coming in from the back. Moore and Aphromoo stunned up by that double stun. The vision there is from the Phosphorus Bomb, but it's not quite there. Now Bobkin moving in, gets the snare, trying to auto-attack Triton down. Has his flashes in for the auto-attack and the Sigil of Silence, and finds the kill there. And this is not the position Blue Team wants to be in, even though their top lane is winning pretty handily. They're... actually, at this point, maybe not quite so much. Tabasco going in aggressively on the Ryden7, flashes in for the burnout and the ignite. Ryden is going to fall there for the kill. That's going to be 3-0 for Red Team here, finding 2 kills in the mid, with Bobkin really walking over Triton. It's pretty unfortunate. However, Triton always does have the team fight. If he can play a little bit safer, he has built the Negatron cloak, as well as not the Negatron cloak, of course, the Null Magic Mantle. While having a bit of health from that Thorin's Ring, he might be able to survive just a bit longer, but he can't afford to die anymore. He has to be able to grab that farm, grab some of those big items, potentially Rabadon's Death Cap. Athena's Unholy Grail will most likely be the first item here, stemming out of that Null Magic Mantle. And really has to play safer than he has been and not fall to Bobkin. If Bobkin gets farther ahead, then he'll be able to find assassinations onto both Glebe, Glarbru, and X-Special. Even though X-Special has his jump... Oh, a lot of damage on Triton. I was going to say, even though X-Special has the Valkyrie, the silence from LeBlanc might be enough to stop him from that in time for Bobkin to find the kill, since he's getting quite ahead. Has the Fiendish Codex for both the ability power and the cooldown reduction, which will enable him to continuously get out his combo. Bobkin doing work on a Triton there. Already level 6, where Triton is level 4 and has to recall off of this one. And... or might be able to stay back and farm just a bit, but he's on low health. Has to be careful about Bobkin going back in once he has his ultimate. Vi moving in towards the bottom lane. We'll see exactly what Delicious Milk GG can accomplish here. Goes in with the Vault Breaker and Flash, but Moore is there from the side. Safeguards on the Aphromoo. The Death Sentence comes across, but misses. Glebe Garbu flashes in, gets the stun there with the Incinerate, but falls low to Moore. Moore flashes in, gets the last hit. Glebe found the kill onto Aphromoo, but did fall in return. There's the Sonic Wave and the Resonating Strike, a double kill for Moore. X-Special now in a rough spot. Might look to go for this execute, but I'm not sure it's going... Oh, wow. Moore actually jumps in for the Dragon's Rage for a little bit of overkill, but a triple kill for Moore. And, of course, Bobkin found another kill in the mid, as he's been doing. I ruined that entire team fight just by saying finded. Just by finded slipping out, and I feel terrible for that. I sincerely apologize to everyone. Bobkin going to take the blue buff here, putting him in an even better advantage. Now he has 10% cooldown reduction from that Fiendish Codex, 10% from the blue buff as well, and some pretty good mana regen from double Dorans and a blue. Going to really be able to abuse this mid lane, and it's interesting to see how exactly they might come around this. I wonder what they could do with Ryden7 maybe going mid and sending Triton top. However, at this point, Bobkin is so far ahead. I suspect him to be able to take on really anyone he goes up against. This is looking to be a pretty intense game with some pretty large players and a huge advantage over to the red team early on. 3,000 gold in the lead, 7 kills to 1. And Moore causing a lot of havoc in the bottom lane, taking out 3 kills. And of course, Bobkin just continuing to abuse that middle lane. He is a player to watch out for, taking out the mid laner here for TNT. I believe their team is actually TINT, but it's just a little shorter there in the tag. Did play in the Challenger Series this week. Ryden continued to push up at the top lane. Is farming a bit better than he managed to last game. Has the chain vest already. More moving into on the mid towards Triton, who is in a bad spot and flashes away from the chains there. That's going to be a double flash getting over the command shockwave. The double jump from Bobkin is going to be enough. Moore gets in there with the Sonic Wave, and they're toying with Triton a little bit. Bobkin grabbing the Rampage, 4 kills onto Triton there, and this is a huge snowball for the middle lane. Things are looking bad for Ryden's chances of getting into the Challenger. However, last game they did overcome a pretty big disadvantage as well, and I certainly wouldn't mind seeing a comeback here. 8-1 here for the red team. 3,200 in the lead. Special gets caught up there by the death sentence, and the flight is out there, forcing him back. The ultimate comes across Ace in the hole, but Glebe turns us around with the summon. Tibbers and the auto attacks, finding the kill on the facility. Now Glebe Glarber moving in the Afro move, gets the stun. Moore is there for the defense, though. The phosphorus bomb catches on the Afro move. Moore almost finds him with the Sonic Wave, turns around on the Afro move. Special is certainly going to die to Moore here, tries to run away, but there's the auto attack from Moore. Now safeguards back into the ward, kicks Glebe right into Bobkin, who finds his 5th kill here. Bobkin is on fire. 68 CS, 500, has his magic penetration on the Sorcerer's Shoes for some heavy early game damage already. And top lane, if it keeps on just dueling back and forth like this, is really going to keep red team in the advantage. Now Triton trying to turn things around on the Bobkin. They pop the although the Assault and Battery went onto the clone there. Delicious Milk GG baited on. I think he pressed that even after Bobkin used his jump, but he was just a little bit too slow on his reactions there, and that was the ultimate burn onto a clone. Ouch, that has to be an awful position. Tabasco going with the Dragon's Descent, forcing the flash out of Ryden7. Going to be a good cooldown trade there for Shyvana, but Ryden did survive through that one. Going for that Sunfire Cape for his first item, whereas Shyvana is going to pick up that Blade of the Ruined King, going for some heavy single target damage. The attack speed scaling so well with Shyvana's entire kit, and percent health damage also going to really be a big benefit. Afremu going in for the death sentence, finds on next special, flays him onto the trap and throws down the box. X special tries to Valkyrie out of there, turns around, but does fall to Afremu. Almost turned around with the Gatling gun to find Afremu, who's on low health here, but Glebe will certainly fall here to Bobkin, jumping over the wall. Vasily grabbing the last hit there. Bobkin's roam here is proving to be a little bit too difficult to overcome for the blue team. 3-12 here. Rebels are certainly taking this one away. Triton just endlessly pushing the middle lane. He knows what a bad spot he's in. Actually could be running for the suicide here. Going to try and clear out as many minions as he can. Tabasco wants to get in there for the last hit. He flashes in. He gets the flame breath onto him and finds the kill. And Triton 0-5-0, hasn't been able to get his Athens yet. Delicious Milk GG going in onto Afromu. Let's see if he can find it. There's the flay in. He almost grabs the last hit, but he steps onto the trap. Afromu flashes over, gets the death sentence. There is the Vault Breaker. He is able to grab the kill of Afromu, but he does fall in return. Now Vasily could be in close to a rough spot. Directed camera, believing we need to be back in the base. Vasily with the ace in the hole onto X special, not quite finding him. The summon timbers on the Bobkin does stop him from continuing on, but he turns around, or no, sends him his clone onto X special, is auto attacking away, but not doing a lot of damage since that clone can't do any damage without attacks. Glebe flashes in on the Vasily. There's the timbers pounding down on him, but he is taken out by Bobkin. Now X special does Valkyrie and Ryden teleported down, but a bit too late. Isn't going to be able to find anything here, leaving that top lane alone for Tabasco to free farm. Ryden now catching on to more, going to try and keep Xpecial alive here. He's surviving up quite a bit, tanking a bit. The Dragon's Rage kicks him back out, but he runs right back in there. Sonic Wave, though, finds Xpecial. He jumps right over and safeguards right out. Ryden will be able to find the kill, and now Bobkin and Afromu try to continue on, but can't quite stick on to Ryden7. He will fall back. Not able to find any kills out of that roam. 6-0 and 1 for LeBlanc, 5-0-2 for Lee Sin. And really huge advantage here for the red team. This is looking to be quite a bit of a snowball. And, you know, when you have these pro players, when you have Afromu, when you have the LMQ, it's not too unexpected. Xpecial is good on any position, but he is a little bit out of his comfort zone, not being on that support, which might play a little bit into this, why he hasn't been able to keep up quite with Vasily. It's also been due to the excellent roam from Moore, who's been such a huge player in here. Delicious Smoke Juju taking the blue buff, partly because if they give it to Triton, he's probably going to lose it at this point. It's a unfortunate truth, but at this point at 0-5 and 0, he hasn't been able to stay alive too long, not much longer than 2 minutes at a time. Now red team gathers around the dragon. This will be their attempt at it, and I don't expect them to be challenged too heavily by blue there. They're wearing it down while Moore is actually jumping around. He's going to look for the assassination on Xpecial. Red team actually backs off of the dragon. They're moving on to Xpecial here. They're able to grab him up with the death sentence, the assassination. Vasily grabs kill there, and now this will be the dragon. Glebe is over the side, going to find the pink ward here and take it out with auto attacks. Almost grabs it down. Delicious Smoke GG just decides to take the buff he knows he can, grabbing that red while letting the dragon fall. Triton just continuing to try to push down this middle lane. It knows he's going to die. There's the ace in the hole coming across. Bobkin finds him with the leash. He tries to take out the middle turret. He gives it with the auto attack and falls after, and he's just suiciding for the turret advantage. That is blue team's first turret of the game, but they've lost 2 in return, and I don't think it's going to be worth it. He has a bit of farm, but at 0-6 and 0, he's not too much of an asset to his team. Vasily, Bobkin, and Afromu now pecking away at the tower, bringing it quickly down to half health. Afromu and Vasily working it down with some pretty solid auto attacks. There it is, the third turret here for red team. They haven't taken the top turret yet, but it will fall right there. There's 4. I knew I was thinking something along those lines. Moore and Vasily sweat out here by a ward. Bobkin just throws a ward looking for something. More throwing at the Sonic Wave. Glebe might be able to get a good summon. Tibbers here. There it is, but it doesn't get the stun onto Vasily, and he has to back out of that one. That's a big cooldown burned, and Bobkin will go ahead and recall on this ward. The command Dissonance finds Vasily, but he doesn't follow up with the Shockwave. Didn't quite believe in the follow-up from his team. Bobkin XD just staying over the wall, looking for the potential for assassination. Ryden cut out here is going to be caught by the snare from Bobkin. The ignite is there as well, and Bobkin is legendary. Xpecial tries a Valkyrie over the wall, throws out the phosphorus bomb, has a Gatling gun, and is throwing out the consistent missiles. Oh, finds a shutdown. Finally kills Bobkin XD, is kicked away by the Dragon's Rage, but is trying to turn it, gets the double kill there onto Moore, and finally falls to the red buff damage. Triton now in a pretty rough position, has used his command Shockwave. Vasily and Afromu will be able to finish him off. Glebe tries to turn around with the ignite. The barrier comes out from Vasily though, and it will keep him alive here. Now Glebe caught up by Afromu. The ace in the hole comes across. He's going to be able to find the kill there. Afromu's ignite taking the last hit there. Tabasco pushing out the bottom lane, not able to participate in too many of these kills, but does have 3 to his name. It's pretty interesting that 3-0 and 0 is a low kill score at this point in the game, but with 23 kills in 16 minutes for just the red team, it's a huge lead for them at this point. 8,000 gold here in the advantage, taking out 4 turrets of their own. And it's beginning to look insurmountable for the blue team. However, there are always comebacks, there are always throws, and there are always some really interesting shows for us all. We'll see what they can pull out. Bobkin, though, so far ahead, has his Medjai's Soul Stealer on top of his Deathfire Grasp for a lot of damage amplification from that active. If we look, I believe he has 6 stacks on it right now, which I don't think quite makes it gold efficient. He needs about 8 stacks on it to make it completely efficient, but he's certainly going for more than that. If he can get just 7 more kills, then he will have a full stacks, which at this point is less than double what he already has. He's just going to wait around in these bushes looking for an assassination, since at this point, with the rest of his team pushing out the waves, he doesn't have much else to do. Oh, Triton is running through, but he's going to run the safe way, and Bobkin isn't going to find it. He's going to try and follow up, but he's going to be spotted out by a ward there. Triton knows where he is and will be safe, finally going without a death for at least a couple of minutes here. After moving Vasily pushing up top, Vasily is actually going to get taken down pretty low. The assault and battery coming in, but he takes the lantern in and flashes right over the wall. Vasily's mechanics are superb, finding the kill there onto Vi. Now Aphromoo with the death sentence and the flay is going to be able to put a lot of damage on the Ryden7, enabling his team to take him down quite low. In the middle lane, Bobkin and more did manage to take on that inhibitor turret and kill Orianna. Bobkin jumping over the wall, finding the leash there onto Ryden7 and taking down this turret. That is 4 members up here on that inner, and it won't live for very long. Xpecial doing his best to defend, and with Glebekaru, there's the flash in. He finds the kill on the Vasily, tries to continue on the Aphromoo, who has the Talisman of Ascension for the escape. Unfortunately, they couldn't save their AD carry. More on the backside here, could be looking for something, but instead is going to back off. He realizes Triton has respawned, and he doesn't want any part of that. But with an escape on the side, finding the Sonic Wave, he might actually just go back in. There it is. He gets stunned up by Glaive immediately, but he jumps out of the command shockwave, takes the lantern right over here at the wall. Aphromoo there for the excellent save, and more will live to see another day. For now, Bobkin tries to throw out the snare. It doesn't get that second tick. Tabasco now in a rough spot. Bobkin jumps over the wall, finds the kill there with the Sigil of Silence and the Deathfire Grasp. Xpecial flashing over the wall, trying to get on the Bobkin. There is the silence coming out, but Xpecial still manages to find it with the auto attack, and he is really bringing his team back into this 5 and 6. However, they're still quite behind, 9 kills to 27. That's 3 times the number. Ryden7 now going to look to throw out some cleavers. More jumping onto Glebekaru, bursting down immediately. More escaping off with the safeguard. Tabasco jumping onto Xpecial, takes him down, and the double kill there for more. Finding Triton with the Sonic Wave. Ryden has to back off the side of this. He's 0-4-2, but he has the fewest death on his team, tied with Delicious Milk GG. Now Red Team is going to look for this inhibitor here. More falls low to Ryden, but Ryden doesn't have an Ignite to go for that finishing blow. Vasily ticking down on the inhibitor here. Delicious Milk GG just using that ball breaker to try and keep off the minions, and they will defend this inhibitor for now, keeping themselves in the game, but by a thread. They're still 12,000 gold down, which means that as soon as Red Team decide to go for one of those inhibitors, it's going to be a huge challenge to stop them from taking it. The game is closer than I would expect, though. They haven't been able to finish out yet, and it has gotten past the 20-minute mark. There's Red Team going for the Dragon here. Blue surrounding them, actually going to force them off of it. This is the first time they've really managed to take a commanding position around a buff of Bobkin, moving in onto Glebekaru. Bursts him down immediately. Aphromoo falling low, throws out his lantern for the bit of the shield. And the box as well, going to keep him alive for now. The slow percentage is enough. Bobkin knows he can find almost anyone. Jumps over the wall, takes out Triton in a second. Xpecial trying to turn this around, but is knocked up by the Dragon's Rage. Valkyrie's in. The lantern is there from Aphromoo. They're on the wrong side of their base, though. Xpecial can push them and right back into this turret. Is in there with the Gatling gun and finds a double kill there on the Aphromoo and more. Vasily looking for the kill on the Ryden7. Gonna find it with Ace in the hole. Xpecial can't quite get in there and is gonna fall to Bobkin. Bobkin and Vasily cleaning up after this, taking down 3 members. They're 3 for 2 overall. But now with Vasily working on this turret, that should be a lot of damage on this inner turret. With this new wave of minions, it will be that 7th turret of the game here for our Rebel team. Oh, you know, I don't have the right... that's why the Rebels and the Empire hasn't made sense so far. I meant to have that up. GG. So Smoke GG just forced back into his base time and time again from Tabasco, who has a solid build, both a Blade of the Ruined King and a Sunfire Cape. More, though, coming out with some huge items here. A very aggressive build with a Ravenous Hydra, Last Whisper, and Spirit of the Elder Lizard. Huge AD armor penetration and damage. You see how fast he just bursts down that red buff. He doesn't have a lot of health, But at this point, it doesn't matter too much. He's only died 2 times through the length of this game. Same with Bobkin, who's going to find onto Triton. Ace in the hole comes across. Vasily grabs it out with that last hit, and Triton not able to find any breaks here. X-Special now in a rough spot. There is the Talisman of Ascension. They catch the snare onto GG, and the death sentence. Tabasco falls there in the side. It was the assault and battery I was thinking of. Box goes down from Afromu. Smoke GG falls there in the back. Vasily on a rampage. Bobkin tries to jump in on the Ryden7, and he is taken down. The double kill for Moore. Another kill for Vasily. The full ace for the red team. Triton finally respawning at the end to leave 1 member alive. But I'm not sure he's going to be able to defend his team up too much. Defend his base up too much. He has the command Shockwave if he wants to look for a kill on the Bobkin, but he has to go through 3 members here of the Rebel team to find it. Unlikely to be the game. All command Shockwave goes on the Afromu. Does a bit of damage, but at this point, with only an Athene's Unholy Grail, it's not going to be too much. Bobkin jumps in onto Triton, bursting him down, but forces the flash out, and Bobkin is assassinated by the turret. If only Triton could have gotten an attack on him, he would have gotten a lot of gold. But as such, Triton's killing spree will not be shut down. He will continue to be 14-2 in the eyes of the gold gods. The aggressive build from Vi here, I believe, is hurting her in her ability to dive. Definitely a lot of damage coming out of Vi with a Trinity Force and the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, but without a lot of health. Vi has been dying pretty quickly, has 6 deaths so far, and isn't really able to set up too much for the rest of her team. However, maybe he believes, oh wow, the blue team gets the Baron out. I was not expecting that turn. Afromu tried to get him for the steal, is able to flash out safely, but I was just expecting that was the red team taking it. Pretty, expectedly. Moore is able to find the kill there on the Triton, but does fall immediately after Tabasco. Now in the middle of 3, Ace and comes across right and takes that up, and that's a 2 for 2 and a Baron for blue. Afromu goes for the Death Sentence, lands on Smoke GG. It was flashed away by Ryden7, and that is Vi falling immediately. X-Special now in a rough spot, flashes away. Bobkin trying to continue onto him, Vasily with the auto attacks though. He turns around with a bit of burst onto Bobkin, taking him down, but falling to Vasily and Afromu, who are now working their way down on the base. That's Baron was their best effort, but they still weren't able to defend their inhibitor. Vasily and Afromu continuing to work on it. That Phantom Dancer and Bloodthirster build from Vasily doing a lot of damage to these structures. 44 kills to 15. This has been such a kill-heavy game. It's pretty intense. And I'm not too sure where we are going to see our next big play. Blue team can go for another big Baron. They stay alive for a little bit. I mean, they lost their inhibitor. I would say overall that was not the best play. It was a good try, though. They're taking risks. When they're this far behind, risks are really the only control you have over the game. If you just stay back and defend, then you're giving all the decision power over to the enemy team, which is a position they didn't want to be in. Moore stealing away the red buff, throwing a ward over the wall, going to be able to jump around in and out of this base, and he has an incredibly aggressive build coming out with the Phage, going to go for a Trinity Force to complete this very, very AD-centric item order. I don't even know, what it's following. It's definitely just a lot of attack damage, though. There's not really one cohesive pattern to it, but it's certainly working for him. 11, 3, and 11. Just doing intense amounts of damage to everyone on the enemy team. Throws out the scanning trinket and is able to block out some of the damage there from the blue team. Ryden7 tries to run in the front, but Glebe with the Summon Tibbers is going to fall, being a little bit too far forward. Moore falls low, but Delicious GG isn't able to burst him down. Moore will now be able to fall back. Bobkin jumps in there. A huge command shockwave on the 4 of them. Bobkin almost falls in the back, but not quite. Shyvana finally goes down to double kill there for X-Special. Aftermove grabs on with the Death Sentence, jumps in with the Flay, throws on the box as well. X-Special almost survives. Ryden finds 2 kills out of that, though. Now moving on to more. Should be able to find this as well. There it is, the triple kill for Ryden7 defending on his base. Now going to keep his inhibitor turret alive as well. If there's any turnaround that's going to get him into Challenger, it's this one that he might oh so well deserve. Those were his first 3 kills. They brought him up to about a 1.0 KDA. And it's really just a tough spot for Blue Team being, but they're fighting valiantly. They kept that alive. They didn't lose much, except for a couple kills, but you know, the 5 for 4 is the best they really could have hoped for. And 68 kills in 28 minutes. That is more than 2 kills a minute. That is silly. This is just like the essence of solo queue. You can see the hugely aggressive Lee Sin, the very aggressive jungler builds. In general, Death's landing on the Ryden7. That could spell his death. He pops his ultimate, but there's so much damage from Bobkin. He has Ignite down on him. The shield is there from Kleeble, but Tabasco jumps in. No, Ryden7 is still alive. The command protect is there. Tabasco tries to flash in, but Ryden7 manages to survive. And that probably woke up everyone in the house. Ryden7, though, barely escaping out, popping a lot out of the red team. A couple of flashes and ignites, and finally manages to escape off the end of that. Didn't even have flash himself. That was just Mundo's running. No home guard boots here from the blue team on anyone. Could hurt them a little bit in this defense, but I guess they expect that you know, if they can't win it in one go, they probably won't get a chance to go back and heal. With the excellent finishing potential that Bobkin has with Assassination, that Vasily has with his ace in the hole. Baron going to be up in 2 minutes. We'll see if maybe Blue Team can make another desperation attempt for that again. That could keep them in the game. If this is the comeback from Blue Team, this could be one of the greatest games that I've ever seen, with Red Team just completely snowballing this. It's something that you can see pretty typically. Huge advantage, but not being able to close it out. But in this case, these are some professional level players. This is Diamond 1 and Challenger, and they really should be able to close it out. They're going to go for it now. Aframu catching on to that Secret Service detail minion. It's going to block up a bit of... Oh, wow. Descent is not able to connect. Aframu looking for it, but not quite finding it. Let's see, Triton caught out by the Descendants, going to be burst down pretty immediately. Can he get the command shockwave? He doesn't have the time to get it out, and that is 2 kills for more. Another kill for Tabasco. Thought it might be the triple kill for him. Vasily finding a kill as well, and that will be the game unless Ryden7 can mount the most victorious of defenses. Red Team moving in onto the Nexus turret, going to take it down rather quickly. That's going to be the game here for the Red Team. The surrender vote coming out before they can take down the Nexus. And Red Team taking this one. The Empire Rebels in the end, of course. Empire could never win. I doomed Ryden from the start with those team names, even though they weren't on the screen the whole time.